Welcome to Book 2 of the Nightmare Collection. If you haven't read Book 1, The Dress Made in the Bayou, please go check it out. The events in these books are actual nightmares that I have dreamt. As you know, most dreams are not linear, therefore I've added in names, events, and etc. to help tie the story together. I hope you guys enjoy the second installment of this collection. In the city of Virginia Beach, a group of friends was enjoying an afternoon outing together. Their second semester of college was starting back next week. As they sat and smoked, they tried to figure out something big they could do before then. Alan, the universal group leader, was talking about an old psych ward. It shut down about 40 years ago or so. Now it just sits abandoned. I heard it's haunted too. You guys want to stay the night there? Olivia was the calm to the group. She was level-headed and cautious. She liked to plan things before doing them. I'm down, but if we're going to do this, we need to do it right. The others weren't exactly on board with the idea quite yet. Everyone except Luna. What do you mean? She asked. I mean, we gotta have flashlights, protection, and stuff. Luna was the adventurous one of the bunch and never turned down a good time. Cool, let's do it. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm not worried about it being haunted as much as I am getting arrested, Charlie interjected. Charlie was quite shy and never looked to tempt fate. Adrian quickly shot down Charlie's insecurities. Bro, stop being a pussy. Let's just do it. What's the worst that could happen? Cops come, kick us out? Come on, Charlie. I'm in. Let's do it. Adrian played football for the school's team. He was into fast cars, partying, and women. Everyone except Adrian knew each other from high school. When they all went to the same local college, Adrian somehow found his way into their clique. Since then, they've always been together. They were basically family at this point. When one of them did something, they all did. This moment was no different. Even though Charlie was reluctant, he eventually agreed upon going. The group met at Charlie's place the next day. They coordinated items they'd need and packed them in a duffel bag. Flashlights, first aid kits, sleeping bags, and more. Alan borrowed his mother's van for the trip. The drive to the asylum was a little over an hour away. Alan turned the van onto the dirt road that led to the hospital. When they saw it, they all shared the same feeling, fear. The intimidation the old wards emitted was undeniable. Even Adrian couldn't shake the feeling. Well, this is actually kind of scary. Charlie laughed. We can always turn back. Nah, no turning back, Alan said. Luna agreed. Yeah, we're here now. Let's just get it over with. It's scary, but nothing is here. Maybe a homeless guy or some animals or something. But that's all. It was near a full moon tonight. The kids almost didn't need flashlights. Almost. They grabbed their bags and headed in the first building with an open door. The space was once a housing unit for the patients. There was a long hallway with doors on each side. Little did they know. All the buildings were in some way connected. Secret doors and shared hallways made this place one giant maze. So, do we want to just set up camp in one of these rooms? Asked Olivia. They all looked to Alan. We can't sleep here. We're barely in the building. We gotta explore a bit first, see if the place is really haunted. As much as they didn't believe it was, no one moved. Alan saw this and took the lead. The gang followed. As they passed each room, they carefully looked in. They saw old cots with wool blankets that were worn by time. Pictures were still on the walls with memories of the past. Suddenly, they heard what sounded like someone whispering. What the hell is that? Olivia screamed out. Everyone put their backs against the nearest wall. Luna reached out for Olivia's hand. It was probably the wind. We're just freaked out because of where we are. Adrian agreed. Yeah, it's just the wind. The kids took off running to where they had come in. Now there was no way out. The door that was once there wasn't anymore. Charlie panicked. Dude, this is the way we came in. Where's the door? Alan tried to calm him down. We must have missed a turn or something. Olivia looked at him like he was crazy. This is where we came in, Alan. The door is gone. Now the whole group was freaking out. That's impossible. We gotta get out of here now, Luna said. Yo, I'm done. I'll find a window and we can break it out, Adrian said. All the windows have bars on them. We're gonna have to find a different door. Charlie was unsure of his own words, but the group knew he was right. No matter if the door moved or they made a wrong turn, the goal was the same. Find a door and get out of the building. Panic was setting in. The kids were barely out of their parents' homes. This moment was making them feel like 8-year-olds again. Behind them, a crash and a deep growl. All of the kids screamed in terror. The roar was deep like an animal, but too big for any bear in the area. 2 of the kids took off running one way and 2 the other. Charlie shrunk onto the wall. He covered his ears and closed his eyes tight. Up came the hallway, a creature unlike anything on Earth. Charlie couldn't move when he finally saw it. He tried to run, his body wouldn't let him. The 6-legged creature moved with a slow pace towards him. He watched the head and neck of the beast twist and turn until it was upside down. The creature lunged at him until they were face to face. Charlie started to urinate on himself. The demon laughed at him maniacally. Olivia and Alan had ran together and now were in a giant room where a window was the only light source. They hid behind a table in the corner of the room. Was that Charlie? Olivia asked in a panicked voice. I think so. Shh. We have to be quiet, Olivia. Whatever that thing is could be following us. Even though she wanted to help him, she had to stay quiet. She was no good to her friends if she was dead. After a few minutes had passed, Alan looked over towards the door. I don't see anything. Should we make a run for it? Olivia noticed light coming from the door. Look, a flashlight. It must be the others. At the other end of the ward was Adrian and Luna. They had ran to the nearest room and shut the door behind them. It happened to be an old nurse's station and changing room. There were a couple large lockers in the room the 2 hid in. They were silent for nearly 5 minutes before Luna spoke up. Adrian, she whispered. We need to get out of here, now. Adrian opened his locker and looked around. Nothing. He tapped on Luna's locker. She opened the door slowly. She peered out and noticed light shining from under the door. Hey, I thought this place didn't have power. Adrian looked puzzled. It doesn't. He pushed her back into the locker and jumped in his. Just then, the door was smashed open. A creature of some sort walked into the room. It was a woman with no lower half. Her teeth looked sharp like daggers. The demon was breathing heavily. It's like she was sniffing the air for them. Her head went from side to side, scanning the room. She stopped on the lockers. Adrian and Luna's eyes both grew wide with terror. As she crept closer to the lockers, Alan shouted out, Hey, you guys in there? For some reason, the demon disappeared. Alan walked through the partially open door. The 2 hopped out of the lockers relieved. Alan and Olivia were safe. Adrian asked, Where's Charlie? Alan and Olivia both looked at each other. We were hoping he ran with you, Olivia responded. We heard him scream about 10 minutes ago. Adrian was furious. And you didn't go help him? What were you doing? Hiding. Alan was annoyed at the situation. Actually, yeah, just like I found you, hidden. You guys, this isn't the time for this. We need to find Charlie and get the hell out of here. Luna was up for adventures, but this was a little too much. Olivia agreed with her. Yeah, I don't know which way he went, but we need to work together to find him. Both the boys knew it was for the best if they were going to find their friend. They slowly walked out of the room, making sure to look both ways. They didn't see or hear anything. The hallway only offered one way they haven't already been. Before we got to you guys, we went back to the area we all were, and there wasn't anything. Let's go this way. The hallway led to a looming spiral staircase. At the bottom, they saw a figure that resembled Charlie. Charlie, is that you? The figure never moved, but they did hear someone shout for help. They rushed down the stairs to help their friend. Once they got to the bottom, they didn't see anyone. They all started shouting for Charlie. In the small space at the bottom, the group of 4 found themselves enclosed with only one door to go through. They opened the door and looked down the steps. The noise they heard next sped up the decision on whether to go down the stairs or not. They ran down as fast as they could. Olivia looked back towards the top of the steps. Was this real? They ran behind one of the walls in the room and hid. We're getting deeper and deeper into this building, cried Olivia. Luna was starting to break down. She was hyperventilating and rocking back and forth. Luna, you gotta get a grip. We're gonna have to run soon. Alan was doing his best to comfort her, but it wasn't working. Olivia grabbed Adrian by the shoulder. Look, we're gonna have to leave Charlie. Adrian was shocked she would say that. What? No, we can't leave him. He's the reason I'm here. Would you guys leave me too? She felt ashamed with the answer she had to give. Yes, I'd leave you too. We need help, Adrian. Then they can help Charlie. Did you see that fucking thing? A loud screeching noise made them cover their ears. When it stopped, they heard a crunching noise from the middle of the room. They looked over to see Alan being eaten by some grotesque creature. The room they were in only had one place that was fully enclosed. They had no choice but to get there. Adrian grabbed Luna's hand and basically dragged her to safety. Olivia shut the door behind them. This was it. Nowhere left to run. They could hear the footsteps of the giant monster walking towards them. Their hearts raced and their breathing intensified. Luna was frozen with no expression. She just stood in the middle of the room. Adrian shouted to Olivia, "Find a way out. I'll hold the door." Olivia ran and started to push empty boxes away from the wall. She was looking for vents or crawl spaces. She couldn't find anything. She looked up to see a blanket on the wall. She ripped it down and exposed a window with the morning sun coming through. I found a window. Adrian was starting to lose his fight with the door. Get Luna and go. Olivia didn't know what to make of what Adrian had just said. Wait, what? No, we can prop something against the door and... Adrian cut her off mid-sentence. We don't have time. It's about to come in. Go, Olivia. You said you'd leave me, right? Do it. Go. She grabbed Luna's hand and forced her up onto the bed in front of the window. She climbed up and opened it. She pushed Luna up and out and then crawled out herself. She took one last glance at Adrian. I'm gonna get help, hang on. He smiled and then screamed, Run! She pulled Luna by the collar of her shirt and took off. Luna and Olivia ran 5 miles to the nearest gas station and phoned police. Local officers were dispatched to find the missing boys. They secured the entire building and searched everywhere. A few deputies came to the store to pick the girls up. They drove them back to the police station and called their parents. Back at the police station, one of the officers asked Olivia what happened. She told him how the group planned to spend the night at the abandoned asylum. She said that they had brought bags and lots of equipment. She explained that as soon as they were inside, the creatures started to pick them off, one by one. Luna continued to sit quietly. Olivia said Charlie was first, and then Alan. She told the officer that they needed to hurry because Adrian was still alive. She told him how Adrian held the door from one of the monsters, while her and Luna climbed out a basement window. The officer was confused. "And where is Luna?" Olivia pointed to the couch. The officer nodded and told her that her mom would be here soon. Once her mother arrived, she ran to Olivia and hugged her tightly. "I'm so glad you're okay, baby. You had your father and I worried sick." Olivia could barely stand the attention she was getting. She walked out of the room and sat in a chair in the lobby. The officer started to explain the situation to Olivia's mother. While he was telling her the details of what was going on, another officer walked in the room. "Sorry to interrupt, sir, but we've searched the entire building. Nothing. No van, no bags, no kids." Olivia's mother was sickened with the news. "Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I can't believe this." "Officer, I think there has been a misunderstanding. Last night around 6 p.m., Olivia escaped from the community mental hospital. She's been committed for the past 4 years. She's never had friends. Those kids you're looking for, they don't exist. She deals with multiple personality disorder and schizophrenia. Thank you so much for finding my daughter, and I'm terribly sorry that we've wasted your time." The police were stunned. They called off the search after verifying the mother's story. Olivia was recommitted to the hospital and has since forgotten about her episode. Years later, the local newspaper published a story. In the article titled, "Missing People, Virginia Beach," the author talks about how children and young adults have gone missing in the past 10 years. It goes on to say that the most prominent area is located around the old asylum,